So, since we don't have our full group, I guess we'll just have you two introduce yourselves. Well, your characters at least. So, Mac and Socks, want to get us going?
Hello, I am playing Silva. I am a level 3 bard who's on their way to college.
I'm Sarah. I'm playing Miser the Mute, a level 3 rogue that's currently going through the sewers with the group. Trying to figure out why they really can't see what they used to be able to see.
Yes. Alright, and yeah, last we left off, you guys had just fought and drove off a strange bounty hunter who TikTok, who you had saved the life of, is identified as Rangvald the Mist Stalker. A pretty infamous Svartalfar bounty hunter.
We'll get him next time.
That's always the hope, isn't it? And after that, though, TikTok had parted ways with you after heading out of the sewers, and you guys headed to the safe house, while TikTok headed back to report to Big Willie and update him on the current goings-on of both you guys and what happened. But after that, you guys have now got a couple of weeks, you figured out, of downtime to kind of spread out and do your own things, and Yulia has pretty much gotten into contact with some members of the gang and found her way to a local textile warehouse, and she's starting to work on clothing for the group as she promised. So she's going to be spending that time making clothes. Phelan has gone off on his own to go visit some shops in the area to try to find out the origins of this staff that you guys found, because he believes it might be magical. And Groina and Dalafig were heading off towards this Order of the Anchor invitation that they had found to go try and induct Groina into this group. For whatever reasons. And that pretty much just left you two. And Silva, you had this invitation so mysteriously dropped in your lap.
Yeah.
And I think last week we talked about where that is. On the shitty map.
It's right there, wasn't it?
Hey, no clue. We're just getting started. So yes, last time when you looked over the map, you found that the place you needed to go was in the theater district up this way. Ignore the actual distance, that's not accurate. But you're in Paddington Square and you need to go up to this district here.
Alright. Doesn't seem like too far away.
It's a big city. But the real issue there is that you need to travel stealthily, because you're a fugitive.
Right.
As for Mazery, though, once you're left here alone by the group, while Silva tries to find a way up that way, this is the first time you've had a chance to kind of pull yourself away from them since this whole mess began.
Can I give myself my spells back?
What was that?
Can I recharge my spell slots? And
Yeah, you would have easily had a long rest by now.
So I'm heading back to my den.
Yeah, you'll be heading back to your secret den that nobody knows about. Deeper into the slums.
Home, shitty home.
Exactly.
Once I reach back, I'm basically kind of just doing my what used to be normal routine, traveling around, making sure that everything around the area is not only just secure, but also any new people that are moving through the area.
Okay, so you're going to take a while to case the area before you actually head to your base.
Yeah.
Alright, well, go ahead and roll me an investigation check for that, then. In the meantime, Silva, you're trying to, like, talk with some of the gang members to try to find a way up to that area that would be quicker, and you find out that they actually, like, own and run a stable that you didn't actually know about, and they run courier services.
All right.
So you could actually rent out one of their horses and take that to run up there, and that would cut the trip in about half.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So in order to rent a horse, though, it's going to cost 5 gold.
It's an expensive horse.
You'll get half of it back if you return the horse safe.
Okay. So I'll rent the horse, but I think I should also disguise myself up,
Okay.
since I'll be riding pretty much right down the road in a horse.
Makes sense. Go ahead and just roll me a disguise kit check then. Using intelligence. I don't think it counts as safe if you only bring half a horse back, no clue. Alright.
What if I bring back both half?
So you take some time to kind of change yourself around a bit, put on some makeup, change what you look like to some degree, get on the horse and make your way up that direction. Silva is on her way to the college, to the theater district rather. Alright, Misery, you take your time and you kind of case the joint, your own house, for a while, and you find that it's been pretty inactive in this area, like the usual squatters and wandering bums and things of that sort, for the most part. But you do know that the building itself has been disturbed, that you actually live in, but only in the way of, like, you have a specific signal that you and other people that work with you use to denote that one of them's trying to contact you, but you weren't home. Whether it be like some kind of chalk sign on the wall, or like a certain like a door purposely left ajar in a specific way. Sorry, what was that?
And you're saying that it was?
Yes, it is. Somebody was here and tried to contact you.
I'm trying to think who it could be.
Given the specific sign, like, I don't know exactly what signs you would have worked out with your contacts, but from what you can tell, it's one of your informants that you use to track down the people that you track down.
I'll probably head from home. I'll do my few rounds in the house and then head straight to the informants.
All right. So you head to your informant, and you know this guy. You've been dealing with him for not like a long term, but like pretty much maybe 4 months that you've been dealing with this guy on and off. And he's a pretty reliable informant, even if he is sleazy, as his name would say. You don't know his actual full name, but all you know is that they call him Sleazy Sal. They call him that because he'd sell out anybody for the right amount of money. Which is why you deal with him.
Always best to work with the informant for the least amount of time you need to.
Exactly.
Same one at least, because the more they have on you, the more that you're worth.
But either way, you head towards where you know Sleazy Sal usually squats. It's an old rundown forge. It's no longer in use because, well, they had some leakage issues, and you can't use a forge if it's flooded half the time. But hey, access to free water, perfect place to squat.
Basically,
So how do you approach the dwelling of Sleazy Sal, as you were?
not directly. Basically, find the spot where we can actually just exchange paperwork without actually anybody noticing. It's not really
Okay.
paperwork, more so just scribbles on the desk. But we do the markings, do the needs. I'm basically communicating to him that request found how long ago were they looking.
It was you couldn't tell exactly from the previous markings how old they were. They seemed semi-fresh in the way of like they hadn't worn off yet. But you go and you make your contact, kind of cloak and dagger, and eventually he feeds you the information at a price. He starts to wheedle you for the price, of course. So you need to make your offer. So you're
Depends
basically
on
just
how
gonna like
important
dead
it
drop
is
some
for
money
them versus
somewhere.
me. I can probably throw them 10 silver right now. See as I move the price up, depending. It depends on whether or not it was new information that's deemed important. Like,
Okay, the best way to
informants
put this
being-
out, and
they'll
this
give
is
you
like him
information based
basically
on-
just feeding you in in the next message is current location. So it's very fresh, current.
There's only one person that they would say that with, if I've been leading them with the correct... Okay, that's actually important enough. I'm gonna start saying 50 for about... It's 10 silver per gold,
Yeah.
right? Alright, so let's start saying 3 gold.
Okay. And yeah, he agrees to that. You have to make a dead drop in a local park, and then
Alright.
return after about an hour, and he leaves the information there in a sealed tube, like a scroll tube.
Perfect. I head around the area. I don't head straight towards the location.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be taking a meandering path around, not directly to it, but like kind of around it to not throw the, to not burn the location.
All right, so you take your time and don't rush it, and eventually you gather up the object as nonchalantly as possible, whisk yourself away to a secure location to look at it, and you pop open the scroll tube, which is sealed with wax, and find inside both a map and the note, which contains the person's name and confirming that it is exactly who you were looking for, Epona Morrison, and her current location is a makeshift clinic set up inside of a warehouse on in the docks district, and it gives you a small like makeshift map of where specifically on the docks that is.
For the area around the docks, would there be another part of the slums there?
The docks are usually kind of outside the slums. This is part of the like very outer edges of the docks. It's a warehouse, not like proper dock area. So it's not where but like people really bring boats in unless they have a shitload of cargo. So it's a less used area of the docks, but it's definitely not slum still. Like when you guys started the game, you were down here in the Eastern Wharf area on the map. This place would be kind of like out here. So it's kind of on the edge of the slums and the more premier districts.
Considering it's fresh information, I think she's gonna go straight to the location.
Okay.
Not inside the building, but just start casing.
Yeah,
the
I know what
place
you mean.
around.
You're gonna start heading to the actual general area.
Considering that it's on the edge of, you mentioned it's over here.
Yeah, it's like right here at
Where
this
would-
point here,
Okay.
where the it's
Would
because
there
it's a
be
dock
any
area, so it's got to be on the
my
water, of course.
Sewers around here.
Yeah, you'd be down in that area, so you can head that way through the slums easy enough. But you'll have to exit and come up land top, because the sewers don't continue all the way to the shore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we'll jump over to Silva. Silva,
Hello.
you arrive on your horse in the theater district. Now, has your character ever been this far inland? Have they been to the theater district?
I'm pretty sure they have.
Okay, so you're familiar enough with it, but it still strikes you every time, because the slums and the surrounding areas that you've been to, at least recently especially, this would strike you, are very dingy. The streets are covered in filth. The people are covered in filth. The clothing are dour and lifeless. The theater district is nothing like that. There are people out actively cleaning the streets all throughout the day, practically. The streets are whitewashed, fucking, like, nice cobblestones. There's performers out in the streets doing all kinds of shows in vibrant colored outfits. There's some shops here and there, but for the most part it's not a shopping area. There's a couple of, like, knick-knack stores and things of that sort, and a couple of restaurants. And they're all vibrantly lit and well, like, in this... Unlike literally everywhere else you've been for the last month, practically. This place doesn't smell like shit.
Finally.
There's really no better way to put that. Yeah. The slums smell like shit. Rather, that smell has been replaced with the stink of pyrotechnics and makeup. Heavy, heavy makeup and perfumes. So as you kind of, like, you find the local stable and put your horse in, head out back into the streets. What are you gonna take some time to just peruse the street?
Yeah, I'll take a slow walk around, catching the sights, while on the way there asking.
Okay.
Asking.
And as you're walking down the streets, like I said, there's performers everywhere. There's like a fire swallower on one street corner, sitting there doing, like, with the fire, sticking it in its mouth and it's extinguishing it, and then he's breathing fire out in a vibrant, like, red and orange outfit. And then in the next corner, there's a small collection of men just singing, like a barbershop quartet, regaling the folk as they walk down the streets. And as you pass by a small theater, you can hear the laughter coming from inside. And at one point, even while you're just walking along, a random street performer grabs your hand and spins you about in a quick dance before you can even react. Whether you choose to join in afterwards or not.
Oh yeah, I'll join him in. For
So you join the dance for a while. Go ahead and roll me a performance check. Nice. Yeah, you jump into the dance and keep pace perfectly with them. It's a familiar enough, easy, like... It's not a very complex... It's like a four-step dance. Very repetitive, but fun. And showy. But eventually you break off from that and continue on your way and find yourself standing on one of the larger streets, and at the end of it you can see... This is kind of a side street, but at the end of it you can see the big theater that has the icon that you came on the letter up on the sign above it. Carved into the wood. And so you have arrived at the theater that marks the front end of Golosaren.
Well, I think I'm just gonna go in the front doors.
Alright, so you head to the front doors and you kind of, like, peer in through one of the windows, and it seems like it's dark inside, like they're not open on this end right now. But while you're doing so, a small man that you seem to recognize a little bit approaches you. But he does so in a very, like, meandering sort of way. Like, he approaches you, but he acts like he's stepping around something the whole time. Like he's being very careful not to step on caltrops or something of the sort. And when I say small, like, he's still human, so he's like 5'3". But small for a man. And you can only tell that he's probably a man from his broad shoulders and bearded, like the beard scruff that you can see out around the mask.
All right.
He kind of does this meandering approach, and he kind of bows to you and does the hat thing again, with no hat.
I'm gonna smile a bit and then give him the same greeting.
All right. He kind of silently like chuckles and then motions in a specific direction and kind of starts to do that same walk back. Starts to lead you around the building.
All right, I'll follow closely behind him.
All right. And as he's doing his meandering walk, at one point he like steps down halfway with his foot and then jumps back a little bit and like holds his foot up in his two hands, like hopping on one foot, acting like he stepped on something sharp. And you literally can see that there's nothing there on the ground. But he does all of this without a sound. Before he finally, like, he sits there and he acts like he's bandaging his foot with invisible bandages. This whole thing takes about 2 minutes of him just doing this, and then he finally continues on his way. But he's kind of limping now. And he finally, like, he leads you around the building into a back area and through a small door.
Is this directly connected to the building?
It's kind of like the building kind of bows outward in the back, so the backstage type area is much larger than the front.
Okay.
Like, think of it this way: the theater's like a square part in the front, and then the back is like an entire pyramid attached to the top of that square. So it's this big arched area coming off the back.
Okay.
And he leads you into a small door on the side, kind of in the where the two meet. And he kind of waves you in, and as he does, you come into a new room, and within it you can see there's like a gathering of 4 or 5 other random figures that look kind of the same as you, like fledgling performers of differing skills and types. One seems to look like very much a what's the word I'm looking for? More like a scholar to you. They've got like a collection of scrolls in their hand. They're kind of fumbling their way through them, trying to find one. And there's another woman that's just got like 2 swords, and she's juggling them idly while just chilling out there. And the other 2 seem to be a pair of twins. Not really sure what they're there for, but they're human twins. But they don't have any like distinct markings or like attire that would give you a clue as to what kind of performers they are. But as someone who's kind of knows the business, just being twins alone is a bit of a oddity enough that you could sell people on that. But either way, these other 4 people all kind of they don't really greet you, but they kind of acknowledge your existence. More so. And the small man kind of just holds up a hand to tell you to wait here and heads off into another area past a small veiled like doorway.
While I'm waiting, I'm gonna talk to the twins and see what their story is.
All right. So, like, okay. How do you approach them, and what do you say? Instead of telling me what you want to do, just
Right,
say it as
yeah.
if you were saying it to them.
You two seem pretty normal looking. What what's your act like?
And they both kind of turn to you in unison, and one of them kind of chuckles a little bit, and the other one nods. And she's like, "Oh, we are not dressed for act right now. It is different, yes. We are contortion."
Oh,
And they've got kind of an accent, like they're not used to Low Arcadian. It's a bit broken, so you can tell they're not locals. Although you could tell that anyways, because most local humans kind of lose their spark and look like they're dead in their eyes. And these two seem pretty upbeat. And you?
me? Well, I don't really have an act or performance developed yet, but I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything.
Oh, yes. How you say, Jack?
Yes, exactly. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes. And as you're kind of conversing with them a little bit, just another person enters the room. This one, not the small man anymore. The small man, you can see him in the doorway as he pushes the veil out of the way for this other person coming in. But the person that comes in the room is a taller, quite a bit taller than, I think. How tall is Silva?
5'9".
Okay, yeah, quite a bit taller than you. This person is about 6'2". So they stand well over the height of pretty much everybody in the room. And they are immediately discernible as a Lios Alfar, or a light elf. Because their skin is radiantly pallid. Seems to almost reflect the light in the room. And they're not wearing all that much. This man is wearing basically a very simple but colorful vest and a tight-fit pair of pants and boots. But they do have an air of... like, they have that air about them where this man's been on the stage. Their very presence immediately commands attention. And he kind of enters the room and peers around with his goldish, like, flecked eyes. And claps joyously. He's like, "Wonderful! This will do. Hello, all of you. I am Vidar. I will be your instructor here. For the next however long it takes you to not be terrible." I will also be working with my overseer, Mahjong Hong. I think I say that right, yes? And then from behind him, another figure enters the room as he says the name, and this figure also stands quite tall, but is not humanoid to the same degree. This person might not even actually recognize the species if you haven't been around the world too much, but they are a Malpo-Ying, which hail from the far western continent, where the Renmen also come from, and he is a owl person. He stands about 6'4", and he's got like the clothing, the trappings of a scholar about him. Looks like someone who works more with books than on a stage. And they've got a small pair of like spectacles on their set on their beak over in front of their eyes, And he doesn't really... He just kind of walks in and his head kind of turns very far around both directions to look at the whole group of people. And he just nods. Doesn't really say anything, just nods in confirmation that he's the overseer. And Vidar's like, good, yes. Well, I think that is all we need to cover as far as introductions. I will learn your names as we go. Let's get to work. And he just claps again and immediately just leaves the room expecting you all to follow. And the other people, their staff here, both immediately follow him as soon as he leaves the room. Leaving you all kind of standing there for a second, befuddled, before the twins like, oh, and bolt after them.
Yeah, we'll quickly run to keep up with the group.
Yeah. And they lead you around the entire building, kind of doing a tour first thing, and he shows you where you'll be sleeping and staying. They show around to a bunch of different, like, training rooms to do all kinds of different things. There's exercise rooms, gotta stay fit. The stage is not an easy place to perform. It requires fitness. Nobody wants to come see a sickly stage performer. But yeah, they take your time and they give you the full tour of the facilities as they were. And once that's done, he says, "We will begin dawn tomorrow. For now, ta-ta." And he kind of zips off on his own again, followed by the other two. But the Mao Tao Yung doesn't follow him this time. He kind of steps off and he kind of pulls out a book in front of him and sets it down in front of the group on a small table, puts down a pen, and you can see where the page just says names.
Okay. So, given that Silva is a fugitive, she's going to write down her false identity.
Alright.
She writes down Sophia Belquist.
Alright. Want to type that into chat somewhere for me? So I can copy it?
Yeah.
That works.
Did it in Twitch chat.
It doesn't really matter. I got it. I just need that as a note. Alright, so you give them your fake name. Oh good, you have that actually written on your false identity, good. And then they basically just kind of, he turns to you after he gets everybody's names written down in the book, closes the book, and kind of just speaks up in a he's kind of very whispery, and he's just like, "You are free to use the facilities as you see fit. Until tomorrow. Good day." And he disappears off into the other room again. So you've got the day to do kind of whatever you want. Kind of acquaint yourself with the facility.
Yeah, I'll walk around the facility, and I think one thing I know Silver would want to do is get cleaned up after spending all those weeks in the sewer.
Get cleaned up, get your clothes cleaned up. Because there would definitely both be washrooms and like areas where you can wash your clothing. Alright, so you go do that. Alright, so with that aside, I think we'll go ahead and jump over to Mazery. So Mazery, you've made your way to this docks area.
docks. So, If I wasn't so affected by that, basically by the fact that everyone keeps saying they can't figure out who I am or see what I am, I can't really walk in there and inspect it, especially how desiccated, dirty I am since we've been out for so long and I don't really have access to a shower. So at this point, it's more of just finding the dirtiest, unclean person that's sitting in the wards waiting. Because I'm assuming that this warehouse has been set up like pretty much like a makeshift medical place.
From what you understood, yes, it's being used as a clinic. Here, I'll go ahead and pull us over to the map real quick, so you can kind of see the setup of it. Just you're kind of scouting the place out, not so much actually going. Let me jump to the map screen.
So don't move around?
I'm actually going to go ahead and give you the ability to see more of it for a second. I'm going to remove the light a second here, so you can actually kind of scout the area. Because I'm assuming you're going here... Actually, are you going here at night or day? That's the big thing.
Nighttime.
Okay, so if you wait till night, yeah, this is what you'll be able to... You kind of arrive here. The docks are a bit of a ways past these buildings. And the reason that you'll like those long lines you're seeing is because of windows and doorways on those buildings.
Mm-hmm. It's up to you if you want me to move.
Yeah, you can go ahead and move if you want to, yeah. Just kind of keep it where the light's coming out so you can move around. But it seems to be night, and only a couple of the buildings seem to have lights on inside of them, which one of them is being this large building right next to where you came in. That one's definitely got lights on, and this one down here does. Because you can see where the light's poking out through it. Yeah.
Since those are like blind spots, she's kind of cautious of me traveling across those unless it's a quick dart. But yeah, from here she would...
And just for reference, the docks are that way.
So I know it's one of these two buildings.
No, these are building when they said the warehouse on the docks, they literally meant on the docks.
Oh, on the dock. Fuck.
So yeah, you're approaching it now. There is a doorway up here somewhere, so you want to be careful. There's also windows.
Okay.
So you're carefully
How
creeping
dark is
along.
it
Go ahead and
outside?
roll me stealth, since you're kind of sneaking around here at night. Oh, bad. That's
That's
probably the
worst
worst you could
roll I've
ever do
ever
on a
done.
stealth roll. Literally.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming she's clawed footing, like basically just...
Yeah, but it's these creaky, rickety old. This dock is much more decrepit than you expected, given the docks in the other areas were much more well maintained. So you walk out on it, it's like, you're just like, oh no.
I don't think Pawpaw's helping either.
Creaking
Pawpaw
sounds.
just starts
Bad
doing creaking
Pawpaw.
sounds too, because they just want to join in. I slap them.
Yeah.
I continue
So
on.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull the roof off one sec, so you can kind of see what's inside through those windows and such. But you can immediately hear someone outside is like, wow, they're noisy out there tonight. And a young woman that you could kind of peer through the window for a second and see before you walked away kind of starts to walk towards the window.
Diving back, I'm going to try and hang off the edge here.
Alright, All you need to roll out for that is basically just a strength check to hold on.
Uh,
It's
I'm
not
still
hard to hold
there.
on to the side of a building and not fall off,
Okay.
for very long at least, depending on how long you're there. But yeah, you can hear her kind of look outside the window a little bit, and she's like, huh, just must be the waves creaking the wood. But you recognize, like, this woman isn't the person that you're after. Because the person you're after, you know very well wears the getup of a doctor. And this woman looks like another poor girl who might be, either she's one of the ill that's here for being treated, or she's a nurse.
Okay. So I'm gonna do something. Gonna continue on. I guess they're still just walking around checking. How
She
dark
seems,
is it here?
you know, you kind of when you walk back, you peer into that window again, and you can see she's over at a stove boiling water. There's a furnace in the corner there that you can see as well.
For this area here, it looks like it's kind of like a big door.
There is a big opening there, yes.
How dark is it here? Like, is it dark enough that you can see the ground?
There. You can kind of peer in that way.
Okay, so I can see a person here, here, some stove here.
There's light coming
Okay.
from this corner over here where the furnace is at. There's a little bit of light, not much, coming from the burner on the stove. And there seems to be light coming from behind this pillar as well. Oh, not much. It seems like maybe a candle's is lit back there, and you can hear someone working on the other side of that pillar, like writing in a book. So you can hear the distinct sound of like pens scratching paper.
Is this a door or anything like that?
No, there's no door. It's just an open.
There's none.
Like if there was a door here, it's not anymore.
Okay.
And the
Okay,
salty
you passed.
air is kind of whipping in through this opening, and it's a little cold. So you can see why they have this furnace burning up in the corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue past this. I'm gonna try and make it across without being seen.
Alright. Make me an acrobatics check to just kind of zip across there and roll as fast as you can without being too noisy. There you go. So yeah, you managed to zip across.
While I was zipping across, did I notice the guy that was here?
You did have time to look across through there and see it. There was definitely a person behind that pillar working. And then there's the nurse over here boiling water. And there seems to be at least one more patient in bed as well. And when you come around this corner, you also see that over here there's a lantern lit on the other side of the building, but it's a big black area for you now. You can't see over there.
Is it... Okay, so this is an interesting question. When it's like that, I'm seeing the inverse, right? So I kind of see it get darker and darker until there's a pitch black little section.
Exactly. Yeah, the light is reversed for you.
Alright. I'm gonna arrow that. See if I can destroy whatever's there.
Okay, that's doable. Go ahead and make me an attack roll. It is a immobile object, so yes, an 8 hits. And the lantern shatters and goes out.
So, I'm gonna watch that area and see if anybody comes out of it to double check and see, because I'm assuming that a lantern shattering is not. They're
normal.
going to check it. Yeah.
All right. Well, while you do that, let's start setting things up. Oh bother! What's this now? And that voice is kind of muffled, as if they're wearing a mask.
While this is happening, I'm actually going to take an arrow and start coating it with the one of the very poisonous mushrooms I have.
You can hear the person kind of walk up to where that lantern is at the corner, but you can't quite see them around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're definitely there somewhere. and she kind of peers around the corner. You can hear her like tapping the lantern and seeing that it's broken. She's like, "The devil."
How bright is that from here?
I gave you your amount of sight pretty well, so no, if you can't see it, you can't see it that far.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a darkness thing, that's a depth thing.
It's just, yeah, it's amount of distance. So you can like barely see that they're like, it's more like shapes at a distance. You can see that there's somebody over there, but they're not fully around the corner of the building. But they tap at the lantern a couple times and go, ugh. And then she kind of pulls her mask off, and you can see a quick click of like darkness to you because she lights up a match, and she lights a cigar and starts smoking on the corner.
Okay, I'm gonna try and crawl across this edge here.
Okay. Give me another acrobatics check then. Alright, so you start to crawl along the edge.
But here, I start to try not to get too close to the window, but like at least see it.
When you get to the window,
Like,
you can kind of peer in. There seems to be a bunch of crates and boxes stacked up in front of the first window.
So I can't see past it.
Nope.
I just see here.
But the second window, there's nothing in front of, so you can see in when you actually move there. If you hold Alt and move, you'll be able to like half move, so you can see better through it.
Okay, continuing past, seeing if I can get to the spot.
She kind of walks a bit more out, and she's facing out towards the ocean, like out this way, and smoking.
Okay.
And as you can see, she's unmasked and smoking, but you like the light from the cigar isn't like enough to really bother your eyes, but it does like kind of glow a blackish color to you because its light is your darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But when she's sitting there smoking, and you can see as soon as she comes around the corner there that she is a Dubkatha.
Okay.
Same as you.
I'm going to try and... I'm not going to... Okay, Interesting. This is something I never actually checked with you. Racials are supernaturals, right? They don't actually have they're not like a spell. They're not spell-like, therefore they're not illusions or nothing like that.
Racial abilities are not spells, no.
So if a Dubkatha actually goes and shadow melts, another Dubkatha won't actually notice it natively.
You see darkness as light though, so it really doesn't work the same on you.
Right, okay. That's not good then. Whatever I see, she sees. So I'm gonna back off just a bit.
Like I said though, they're not facing towards you, so you're still clear right now.
Yeah, but if they turn...
Alright, so you're gonna head back?
No, actually, Yes, I'm gonna head back.
I didn't hear what you were talking about, Verdon, but I'm gonna actually switch the song, because I've been letting this just play.
The information I had was correct. There's only one Dubkatha here.
And she seems to be staying out there, because every so often while she's standing there, you can see her smoking, so you keep seeing this like pulse of darkness whenever she puffs off the cigar.
Excellent. Okay. Let me double check something here. From here, okay, so this distance. I know where roughly that was, even though I can't see it here. Question is, if you can't see an area, okay.
If you can't see it, you can attack it, but you have disadvantage, and you have to guess the location you want to shoot at.
Right.
It's like it's more or less a percentage miss chance more so than actually like getting an attack roll at that point. But while you're out there doing that, you can hear the girl that was inside walk towards this side of the building a little more, and you can hear the distinct sound of her shoveling coal into the furnace.
Alright. I'm going to see about coming up to here, seeing if the person's gone, which I think they are.
There's nobody there.
I'm actually going to slip in the side here.
Alright. Yep, go ahead and roll me another stealth check while you try to creep around the building. Oh yeah. She doesn't notice you. You can't see her because there's a blob of darkness in that corner for you, but you can hear her scooping and shoveling in coal and kind of grunting, and you can hear her like creaking as she's like flexing her back, trying to like having back problems because of shoveling coal.
Okay, these people here, is there any food near them?
Doesn't seem to be. They just seem to be sick people laying in these beds. One of them is kind of coughing a bit. The rest seem to be resting like pretty well. But yeah, you see this center area now. This table seems to have been used as a like operating table because it's smeared in dried blood.
I'm gonna try and see if I can slip by. I'm gonna head to over here.
Okay.
Does it look like from here I can probably see maybe slightly around the corner?
You can kind of peer out, and yeah, you can see she's still out there smoking.
Okay. How much of the cigar looks like it's left?
About half.
Awesome. Okay.
Because this is all happening in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go here and double check any of the documents that they have. Just
You kind of leaf through the books real quick to see what they are, and they look like medical journals. And the one on the book on the table is currently being written, like about what's happening here. So it's just a bunch of technical jargon and medical stuff about disease, some kind of outbreak.
Anything here like a drink, a tea, anything like that?
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna quickly pull out my caltrops, and I'm gonna actually put some of the very poisonous mushroom. I'm actually gonna shine it onto the caltrops.
Okay.
And is there a seat here?
No, it's just a standing desk.
All right, putting the caltrops in a point where you can't see it, but you'll step on them.
All right, so you just kind of sprinkle them around just underneath the desk.
Yeah, I think like 6 of them is okay.
All right.
While I do that, I leave.
All right, so you're just gonna leave. Okay.
Gonna hold position right here. And listen.
The young girl heads off back from scooping coal. Heads back to the stove. When the boiling water starts to whistle, she pulls it off and sets it over on the table. So you're just kind of waiting to wait for something to happen?
Yeah, just waiting.
Okay. That takes a bit of a while then. The girl just kind of sits over here, making treating bandages and stuff like that. And the doctor eventually finishes her cigar, puts her mask back on, and starts making her way back inside. She kind of goes around to the patients and checks on them. You can hear her kind of like let out a really deep sigh as after she checks on the patients and heads back over to her little desk there. In the center. Not the desk, rather, I should say. The side table where the candle was at.
From here, I should be able to see. Well, no, they're lit.
The candle only puts off a very small amount of light, so you can kind of see that it's hazy. And they're also, like, they're the same as you, so the candle should be bothering them too. But maybe they're keeping up appearances for the sake of the nurse. Either way, they sit there for a minute and they pick up the book that they had on there and look over it for a moment and then set it back down. She takes out takes a rag off of the table and starts to like wipe the big table a little bit, trying to get some of the blood off. And after about a minute and a half of wiping on this dried blood, she just kind of gives up. And then the two start to prattle back and forth about like what she's doing, how the patients are doing, and just having a conversation.
I'm actually gonna have I'm gonna try and sneak back over to about here.
All right, so while you're creeping that way, you notice out of the corner of your eye this right here. You notice there's a mirror standing in the corner of the room, and your reflection kind of gives you a thumbs up.
I wonder. I'm gonna get closer to it.
And of course, the second after it does that, it snaps back to being just your reflection again. But yeah, you approach the mirror, and it looks like a mundane, silvery mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so you turn away and start to keep creeping?
Mm-hmm.
When you turn away, you hear like a whispered voice like, "Kill them all."
How big is this mirror?
About 5 by 5 or 5 by 3.
5 by 3 resting against the wall?
Yeah. Like 5 foot tall, 3 foot wide.
I'm gonna take some of my silk rope, tied to the top of it.
Okay.
Like enough that it's got grip, but if I pulled it hard enough, it would actually unravel.
Okay.
And I travel out here.
Okay.
A nice pull.
And then you pull, so you break the mirror. So the mirror falls face first to the ground and shatters loudly. And both of the women kind of, like, the young girl kind of screams and it starts. She's like, "What is it with tonight? Is it the wind?" And the doctor kind of turns that way and starts to walk that direction. The devils? The young girl's, like, sitting over in the corner shaking. Like, someone there? Doctor walks over to where the edge of, like, the glass is shattered out to, kind of looks over it all, and she's like, "I guess we should have tied it up or something. It was just here being stored, but it fell. Oh, wait." And she notices the rope. Are you going to do something now before she does any more, or what? She noticed the rope.
Yeah, gonna go up to her. So she notices the rope on here.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have stayed on there pretty much. But it pulled it down and there's like hanging across the floor.
Yeah, at this point.
All right.
I'm trying. Goes for the kill.
Yep. You have advantage because she doesn't know you're there. Nice. That's definitely a hit. And sneak attack.
Oh, sorry. 2d6.
Yep, you are now level 3, so it's bigger. Nice. So she starts to turn, like, to see what where the rope's leading, and you just come in through the corner and lunge and just shove the blade right up through her ribs. And she comes to a stop and just kind of grabs the blade while it's stuck in through a rib cage, looks at you through the goggles of the mask, and just through the muffling and the gargling, you can barely hear, but she goes, "Thank you." And then she's dead, and she kind of slides off the blade to the ground.
And with that, I'm going to use some more ropes to clean off the blade, and then leave.
Before you can leave or do anything else, after you lean down to clean off your blade, the girl screams, but in mid-scream, everything seems to kind of stop.
Full stop?
Full stop. Like, she stops screaming, the people in the bed stop coughing, nothing's moving. And at the edge of your hearing, you can just hear this, like, soft cracking sound. As if you were stepping on parts of the mirror. Except it's everywhere. And I think that's where we're going to jump back to Silva.
Hello.
Alright, Silva. I had to do it to him. So you take your day of rest and kind of get washed up and cleaned up, and the next day you go through a rigorous training course where you're both physical and performance training. So you go through like a large amount of like actual exercise in the gym area that they have, some sparring, things like that. So I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw,
Okay.
because this is quite rigorous. Alright, you're handling it pretty well. It's not as bad as sludging around inside the sewers. Hey, I can do this. But after that, you get stuck into some performance arts types related courses where they're like, it's a bunch of different stuff. One of the courses is literally like they're just teaching you poetry. They're just not like how to write poetry, just quoting off lots of famous poetry to you and trying to hammer it into your brain. And then another class is them just going over the fundamentals. And all of this stuff, like it's a lot. You're just being mentally and physically hammered with information and training. And this goes on for days. And as you're there, you kind of come to realize very quickly that there's the 3 tenets of Galausaren School of Performance Arts. They are confidence, training, and talent. If you have confidence, training, and talent, you will go far in the performance arts. So all of the training centers around those 3 things. Training you to be able to remember and recall both physically and mentally random things that you need to do on a moment's notice, as if it was second nature. Fostering your natural talent, whether it may be your actual skill or magical talent. So there are some like education, they do have classes about like arcana and things like that, since you have those skills. So they're teaching you a little bit about magic. And of course confidence, the big one. You can't get anywhere without confidence. But it's also like it's literally like part of what your courses are honestly more like what you would imagine from a women's what are those called? I can't remember the type of schools. Finishing school. Like they're the kind of content you would expect from a finishing school, where they're like teaching you how to be up like etiquette and upright and a lady, how to be confident but not pompous.
No, right?
So go ahead and just make me a intuition check. See how much of this you're picking up. How much of what they're putting down are you picking up?
Where am I seeing that?
It should be in your skills under, I think, wisdom?
Why am I not seeing
Insight.
intuition?
I'm an idiot. Insight. I do it every time. All right, you're doing
Rolling
pretty
high
well.
today.
Yeah, like, do you have any specific type of things that you were trying to seek in education in? Or are you just trying to do the basics for now?
Probably like I guess I would be focusing on mimery.
Okay, so Minecraft. I don't know if that's actually a technical term for it, but I'm calling it Minecraft. Alright, so basically for the first week that you're here, you spend it pretty much just doing the general stuff, and then you branch off into doing more advanced courses. Once the instructors see that you're excelling. Mime diamonds, no. You could mime out having a diamond. So you start to learn the art of Minecraft. So a big part of that is it takes you almost a full week to learn, but they teach you sign language. So basically, at this point, for the sake of subclasses, you now have the Minecraft subclass ability available to you.
Okay. Are we getting much downtime in during these classes, or are they pretty much day to night?
It's pretty packed. It's probably like a 10-hour school day. And a lot of the students use their downtime to continue doing more studying or practicing on the stage. So yeah, Minecraft. Disguise kit, performance, gaming set of your choice, and sign language.
Yeah.
And along with that, of course, they pull you aside for your arcane studies, and that's where you'll get silent spell work. They take the time to teach you how to use sign language as a means of casting spells. Instead of casting magic with words and such, you use visualization and bringing your thoughts to reality more so. For that sake, go ahead and roll me a, let's see. I guess it would be a performance check. It's funny, I've set up DCs for these, so like it would be long-term checks. If you didn't succeed each time, you could continue retrying every so often, and you've hit all of them so far in the first try.
Nice.
So yeah, they teach you how to visualize your magic rather than speaking it. And that's where you get silent spell work. So now you have your two abilities for your subclass officially available to you. So now you can cast spells without vocal components, but instead using somatic components. You literally mime your spells out if you want to.
So anything that had a visual component, excuse me, a verbal component, now has a mandatory
Yep.
somatic component.
Correct. If it had neither before, it doesn't change. That said, very rare are spells without either a somatic or a verbal component. Yes. Yes, it does. But not until level 6, when you can literally create a box using Mimery.
Yeah. Won't be escaping from that.
I'm trapped in an invisible case of emotion. Alright. So, that continues until you finish your 2 weeks of courses, and it comes to the day where you've been deemed worthy to attempt to do your trial to see if you're on the stage, to see if you pass your course and can move on.
All right.
So basically, they lead you to a backstage hall area, and Vidar is there with you. And he kind of like leads you up to the door for the area, and he's like, "Now you see, young one. Remember all that we have taught you, and remember precepts. You must go into stage with confidence, training, and talent. As long as you remember that, you will do well here. Now go forth, you must go to stage, perform for audience. Do not worry, they are very spooky. Do not let that bother you. But thing will appear on stage, you must perform but also fight your fear. And once you have overcome such fear, you are ready to continue. Do you
Silva
understand?"
will silently nod. Yes. Silva silently nods and turns towards the stage door.
Good.
And
And he
starts
unlocks the
walking
door
out.
for you and pushes it open. And you walk out backstage,
Right.
and he closes the door behind you and locks it. One second. Alright, I had to make sure of something. All right, and outside, and you're now backstage. You can see the velvety blue curtains closing off part of the stage here. You can see where the spotlights are shining in, and they're open up ahead.
All right.
And yeah, if you want, I don't think, did I give you control of that candle? It doesn't really matter.
No.
Okay, that's fine. You got where you're going. You can see the light, right?
Yes, I can. All right, I'll come to the edge here and I'll like kind of look around the curtains, see what I see out there.
All right, so you look around the stage, and you can kind of see that the stage is done up like a graveyard. Like there's a big casket right here in the front, and there's little tombstones scattered about the sides, kind of off to the back of the stage more.
Okay.
And you can see out into the audience, there's a bunch of shadowy figures lurking about. And as you walk out onto the stage, you hear the words again that he said again in your head. Summon up your confidence, talent, and training, and no matter what you face on the stage, you will be fine. And with
All
that,
right, well.
they join you on stage.
Okay.
Nope, don't stay there. Give me a second. Am I on the
Oh,
right?
I see what's happening.
God damn, stop being painful.
I can see their age.
That's because they are you, and you are them.
Okay.
You get to control all of them. Yes, I need to change out the music. 1 second. Need some good stagey music. Let's see. Do I have any good stage music? The music selections are so limited. I'm sad. Let me check. Why is training not showing? It should be.
Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah. I was just getting through them one by one. Well, since we're in a fake cemetery, we'll do the haunted cemetery music. Funky boogie. Alright, so as you walk out on the stage, what is the first thing you should do?
Take a bow.
Take a bow. You all join hands and take a bow as a group. And with that, once you take your bow... I'm on the right folder, okay. The spotlights turn off. And I guess to start off, Confidence steps forward to the casket and speaks with your voice. Of course, like they don't really have their own talk. Like they don't speak, but when you speak through them, I guess is what the way to better say it. But they kind of like go up and they like kneel at the altar a moment and kind of do like a boo hoo hoo kind of over the top thing. I don't know how else to put that. They just kind of doing over the top miming of crying at the grave, and the audience just goes quiet as soon as that all starts. Pantomime, yes, that's the word I was looking for. So what are you going to do here now with this?
I'm gonna come out on stage here. Take a look at the casket and
Yeah, you can tell that the casket is slightly ajar, and like these are all props. They're not real like caskets and real
Right.
tombstones. You can easily tell that they're made out of like really flimsy wood. So you could easily open it if you wanted to, or push off the lid.
going to act as if I'm grieving as well and push the casket open.
All right, and as you kind of do that, the audience kind of like some of them perk up a bit, and they're like, "Oh," trying to like see what's in. And you can see that there's nothing inside, of course, but they can't tell that. But when you open the casket, a existential feeling of dread kind of overcomes you and from where you are. And your fear comes, as he said, and manifests in the form of a floating creature above the top of the casket, with many masked faces all coming up out of a like black inkish well of gross And I just clicked off to the wrong creature. 1 second. Alright, so it appears. Bum bum bum. Time for initiative, I think. Are you ready for a stage fight?
I am ready for a stage fight.
And you have full access to the character sheets of all the other 3 as well, so you can go ahead and roll all of their initiatives.
Okay.
Which literally all you do is open them up, and there will be a spot that has like a die that says "init" on it.
Looking for that right now.
They're all inside of your, like, with your notes and stuff.
I'm not seeing the initiative.
Alright, on confidence, for example, you go to character sheet, and right next to where it says armor class, across there's a little die.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, and they each have one of those. And you can even open those up and pop out windows if that makes it easier for you, so you can have all of them open on a second screen.
Yeah.
And just make sure you click on the token for each one when you do it.
Okay. That roll is for... The roll is for confidence. That should be all of them.
Alright, so confidence had a 13.14. I don't know why I put 1, 2. Alright, so you won the initiative. So, the first thing that happens then, before we do anything else, is you start your turn within 5 or something feet of the monster. So its first, one of its abilities goes off. Oh, come on. I tried to pop out the window and it was like, you're not logged in. Are we really playing that way? Roll 20? Can you not? Oh, for fuck's sake. It's not wanting to let me pop out the window. It keeps telling me I'm not logged in when I try. There we go. Fixed it. Alright, so, as I was saying, you're within 20 feet of it when you start your turn, so you need to make me a wisdom saving throw. Okay. So you are frightened of the thing that just came out of the casket until the end of its... or start of your next turn.
I get a +2 to that because of training, right? Nope. Sorry, take that back.
Not yet, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so... you were frightened, so what that means is the frightened condition means that you cannot move closer to it, but that's not really relevant right now. What else does frighten do? And you have disadvantage to checks and attacks while the source is in line of sight. So as long as you can see it, you get disadvantage on attacks for this round. But it is your turn.
Even though I'm frightened, I'm still going to try and attack it.
Alright. Now you just... How are you going to attack it? Remember, this is all... while this is a fight, this is also a performance.
I'm gonna draw my short sword, hold it up high, whip it around in circles, and then thrust forward.
Alright. So you have disadvantage. Does a 15 hit? Yes. Alright, you swing into it with your sword, and you can feel it, like, it hits it, but there's definitely, like, a strange sensation to it, because this being seems to be ephemeral. But it does recoil from the blow, like... And when it does so, all those heads on the top of it, the masks, faces that it has, that are all in very, like, distinct emotional states, they all kind of rotate until it's a screaming one when you hit it. And then they rotate back to an angry face.
And after that, I think I'm going to give a bardic inspiration to confidence.
Alright, so you bardically inspire confidence. Which, funny enough, inspire confidence used to be an ability of bards in older editions. Alright, so next is talent. Talent, are you within 20 feet? Yes, so talent needs to make a wisdom save. They are also frightened. And the other ones, they kind of do their acts automatically, so talent kind of like does like a cowering over, like, dramatic cowering. But what are they actually going to do?
Action-wise, or...
Yeah.
Okay. Talent is going to cast Vicious Mockery.
Alright.
They will... Do they have the Minecraft as well?
Yes.
Okay.
They can't actually speak, so like, it doesn't really matter for them.
They're gonna point at them, make like they're laughing and jump up and down, and then taunt them by mocking their mask face, making fun of their mask's face.
Alright.
Mask face.
So it's a wisdom save?
Yes.
That's a fail.
It's 1d4.
And the faces all kind of shift around again quickly in succession to that, and it makes like a shocked face at the taunts, and then back again to the angry face. And I'm guessing that's Talon's turn? So we go to training, and training has to make a saving throw. That's a fail.
Oof. I used all my high rolls up already.
Seems that way. So training is also frightened.
They are condition immunities. Frightened is under there.
Okay, then training can't be frightened.
Same with talent. They're all immune to frightened.
There you go.
Okay. Training.
They still do kind of act out being like cowering when the creature first appears, though, just for dramatic effect.
Okay.
The only one that doesn't is confidence.
So training is going to advance on the creature while doing a little tumble, or a little dance act as he's moving forward.
All right. Let's go ahead and have training make a performance check.
How do I do a performance check on these pages that you...
They should have skills.
Oh, there it is. I see how it works.
Not bad.
Nope.
They do their tumble, and a couple of people in the audience are like, ooh. But not like enough to really do anything.
Alright, then as he's advancing, he is going to strike with his short sword in a flurry of... He's going to do a little flourish first and then strike the creature.
Alright. That's gonna hit. Nice. Last but not least, confidence. Confidence does not cower. They stand resolutely in the face of fear. And I think, if I remember correctly, confidence is armed a little bit differently than the rest.
Confidence has a small sword just like training does.
I think they have a buckler as well.
Yep.
Yeah, confidence is wearing a breastplate and carrying a buckler. So they're heavy armed and armored. So what does confidence do?
Confidence will be attacking with their small sword. So they hold their buckler out in front of them. Take out their small sword. Flip it around in the air, catch it by its handle, and strike.
Alright. Let's see that attack. Nice, a 20. That hits. Alright, so that's their full round of them doing their thing. So we get to the monster. Bum bum bum. One sec. Alright, so for the first round, the creature kind of rises up into the air a little bit, but not enough to like get out of range, just enough to be like flourishing. It rises in the air with its hands in the air, and the faces all kind of change around until it changes to a face of like determination. And then it swoops down on confidence and rakes at them with its clawed fingers with an angry face. And it hits. Oh, that's a crit. Damn. Confidence takes 10 points of necrotic damage. And, due to the withering magics that this creature is made up of, confidence cannot be healed until the start of the stage fright's next turn. And as the creature does that, it kind of like... It uses telepathy to kind of communicate to you and the rest of it, the audience all at once. And its voice kind of snakes its way into your brain, and it's like, I am fear. Know me, for I am eternal. You cannot defeat me, fool. And this is all very grandiose, the way it's enunciating, making it all very stagey. And it's going to make a performance check. And as it does that, like the front row of the audience are like, gasping in fear. Some of them are actually within the range of its aura, so yeah, they're literally afraid of it. Then it's back to you.
All right. Silva is going to cast. Do I have to make a saving throw again?
Yes,
For
you
the
would have to make
beer.
another one this turn. It ends at the beginning of your turn, and then when you start your turn within the 20 feet, you have to make it again.
Okay, and
If you succeed, though,
it
you're
was...
immune to it for 24 hours. So you just need to actually pass it first.
What was the saving throw?
Wisdom. That's a fail.
Rip. I'm not forced to retreat, am I?
No, you just can't get closer. So if it were to move away, you wouldn't be able to move towards it.
Okay. Silva is going to cast Cloud of Daggers. I'm gonna take their the rapier and like spin it around up above their head.
Alright.
Oops. So I supposed to roll damage?
Where are you placing
Wait,
it,
I need
I
to pick
believe.
a place for it. I was gonna cast it right here. Right
Alright.
below Confidence.
Let me grab Cloud of Dagger. Of course that's not actually in the SRD. Why would it be?
Whoops. Rolled again. I wanted to bring it up. Ignore that second roll.
Yeah, I'm working on I'm bringing it up on another site real quick.
Thank you.
Okay. You choose a cube 5 foot on each side and centered on a point. You choose within range. Okay, and first time a creature
So-
enters the area or starts its turn there, it takes the damage. So if you choose a 5 foot area.
Mm-hmm. Which is basically 1 square, right?
Yeah. So you just kind of note where you want to put it.
I'm gonna put it right here below Confidence.
Like that.
Yeah.
Alright, so it doesn't do anything yet. It will, though, when it starts its turn.
Okay.
Is that all you're doing?
Can I? Is that the? I can't do another attack action, right?
No, that's an action.
Okay. I will do Bardic Inspiration on training.
Alright.
Uh,
Make sure you
I give,
reduce
like,
your number of
a
inspirations.
big cheering I'm sorry, what was that?
So make sure you actually reduce your number of inspirations.
I am, yeah. So I look over at training and I jump and cheer and silently
Alright.
pass on my encouragement to him.
And training kind of does like a little like half bow. Talent.
Talent is going to cast Heroism on Confidence.
Good plan. Alright, so heroism. Go ahead and pop that out.
Do I just cast that or?
Yeah, you just click the
Hold on,
button
bring it up.
in the spell page.
There it goes.
So she has to move over to touch him.
Oh, talent, yeah.
She'd need to be here.
Right there.
Alright, so heroism. Immune to being frightened and gains temporary hit points equal to your spellcasting ability modifier at the start of each of their turns. So right now, at the start of their next turn, which, are they next? No, not yet. But it won't matter, the monster doesn't go before them, so they gain... How many? What's their spellcasting ability modifier on... So what's their charisma mod?
+2.
On... talent?
For talent.
Yeah, it's talents.
Yep, they got a +2 charisma.
Alright, so that means that Confidence has 2 temporary hit points. And will every turn. Well, every round.
Every round gains 2 more?
Yep.
Nice.
They don't stack, though, so it just goes back to 2.
Okay.
It just always has 2, no matter how much damage they take before that. When they get back to their turn, it goes back up to 2. Alright, so then it's Training's turn.
Training is gonna spin around and strike with their small sword.
Alright. Alright, that hits. Twice. Alright. That all they do? So we go to Confidence.
Confidence will also be attacking. They take a small step back and they thrust their buckler in front of them, and from behind that they come up with their small sword, striking at the opponent.
Alright. Hits. Alright, Stage Fright's turn starts, so you can go ahead and roll the damage for the Cloud of Daggers.
Okay.
And the faces all kind of change over to a face of anguish. Nice, 8 points. Again, this time, one stage is they're being stabbed by these ephemeral daggers, and all of you poking at them with their sword. And he kind of recoils a bit, and again the voice kind of creeps into yours and the audience's heads, and he's like, "Alas, ye dagger at me, but it means not, for I am fright, I am fear, I am darkness, I am eternal. You shall not overcome. You do not have the light within you." And then, again, his actual action now. Let's see. He's also going to roll a performance check for that. He's being artsy. That one kind of rung a little hollow to the audience. Kind of repetitive. And Dan? He kind of flourishes his hands up to the sides and weaves them back and forth with magic intertwining behind his inky fingers before all of his faces together and conjoined kind of scream out and send out a wave of, like, shrieking magical energy. And since you're the only one that's not immune to it, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw. As it casts fear.
Yeah, let's see, what was that? Can training give me the aura of competence bonus?
Aura of confidence applies to ability checks, not saving throws.
Okay.
So, like, your performance checks are enhanced by the aura of confidence.
There we go.
Alright, that fails. So, you drop what you are currently holding, so your sword. You're frightened for the duration of the spell, which is up to a minute. I'm going to put a little marker on you for frightened. Since the other ones were only lasting a turn, this one's more long-term. There we go. And so long as you are frightened by this spell, you have to take a dash action and move away from the target, or from the source of the fear on each of your turns. Unless they have nowhere to move, unless you have nowhere to move, then you're forced to take a dodge action and cower in fear. But you can repeat the saving throw on each of your turns, ending the effect on a success. And that's that for the stage fright. So it's back to you, and it's your turn, so you have to make a wisdom saving throw immediately. You might be able to shake it off after you run away once. You do, so you have to run away this turn. So you have to run or dash, that means you move double movement, so 60 feet.
That's a long ways.
Yep, that's your double movement.
50, 60?
Yep.
Okay.
So you run away. What do you do while you're running? Like, you're compelled to run, but you don't. That doesn't mean you can't do anything else. As far like, you can't do actions, but you can try to act and do other things.
Yeah. I'll be like clutching my head and like keep looking back at this horrible figure that I am now afraid of.
Okay. Need to move this on the other screen. There we go. And while you're running, the creature cackles. Alright, so it's Talon's turn.
Okay. Talent is right here, right? Yeah. Talent is going to mock him.
Alright, so vicious mockery time.
Yeah. He points at him and let's see, what can I mock on him?
Right.
He's gonna make fun of his
saving throw.
His inkiness.
Alright, this time it didn't seem to be all that offended. Maybe he's quite proud of his inkiness, it seems. So back to training.
Alright, he'll attack with the short sword. Can I use the Bardic Inspiration on that one?
Sure. Womp womp.
Womp.
Yes, falter. Fail. Confidence. Initiative.
I didn't hit that.
That's weird.
Yeah. All right. Confidence will also attack with their small sword. With a confident smile on their face, it's gonna hold the sword upward, take a small step forward, and thrust.
Alright. Womp womp.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use their bardic inspiration too.
Alright. We go ahead and remove those.
Well, for the love of God.
Oof. Those rolls. Back to stage fright. You are no longer frightened of stage fright currently. Stage fright, as he laughs at them for failing, he kind of like lashes out with his claws at training. I think that's training in the front. Yeah. Sunder flesh. Tear bone. I don't think a 12 hits, though.
Nope. Armor class
See.
of 4.
He also fails. So we're back to you, and you're no longer scared of him.
Okay.
Also, the dagger damage again. That's better. Now, of note, because I'm not sure, like, you know the way this mechanically works, because it spoke to you telepathically, you can do the same. Like, you can communicate with
Okay.
it. So if you want to, like, go at it, you can also do that. Try to, like, challenge it or jeer at it and things like that. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying you can. Like,
Right.
once a creature has telepathically contacted you, it's a two-way street.
Hang on, I'm just going over my spells here.
Yee.
All right, I'm going to move 30 feet forward.
Remember to start where you're at, so you'd be one back because you started the arrow 5 feet in front of you. Not where you were. I guess so. Either it just looked weird because I guess the starting point was off.
Yeah, that was my bad. All right, I can't do what I wanted to do, but all right, we'll cast Dissonant Wisps. Oops,
Double tap.
I lagged. Yeah.
Alright, so it needs to make a wisdom save.
So leans forwards with their hands cupped and like pantomimes like telling a secret to someone as if they were next to him.
Alright, and then it passes the save, so it takes half damage. And it doesn't run.
Yeah.
Also, your arrow seems to be stuck on my screen. There, it's gone. Okay.
How's that? There we go.
I wasn't sure if it was like a bug or if you actually were still holding it.
I think it was because I clicked off the screen.
That'd probably do it, yeah. Alright, so that was you. Talent.
Talent. Talon's gonna spin around and slash out with the small sword.
Alright. That hit. Alrighty. Then training.
Yeah, all they can do right now is also attack with their sword. Training,
That hits.
add some miss. Okay. Training laughs at him as he does his strike.
You laugh in the face of fear. How queer. Then confidence.
Hiding behind his player, he spins his sword around the edges of the buckler and then suddenly thrust forward.
Alright. That hits. Once. And we're back to stage fright. Alrighty-doy. Alright, stage fright, again, kind of cackles and points at the three of them, also do the Cloud of Daggers damage.
There we go.
And it rises up into the air this time as it casts Bane, targeting all three of them.
Okay.
So now, just like with Bless, except it's reversed. You subtract a d4 from all the rolls.
Alright.
And when he banes them, he kind of, like I said, he rises into the air and cackles at them and points down. He's like, "Fools who thought they could stand before me, you are nothing more than projection. Only a true performer can defeat me on this stage." And the audience kind of claps at that one, as the three of them all kind of like fall to one knee in unison as they're being hit with the spell. And then he moves away, which means they'll all get to make attacks of opportunity. Except for talent. So confidence and training can make an attack of opportunity, but they get a d4 penalty to their attack roll.
Okay. Let's see. So at 1d20
Minus 1d4.
slash R 1d20.
You can... easiest way is just do the normal attacks and then just roll a d4 and subtract it.
Okay.
Well, that's going to miss no matter what you roll on the d4.
That's gonna miss anyways, yeah. And then training 2.
Alright, and roll the d4. Still
Ooh.
hits.
Still hits, nice. Take a stab at his back as he's moving away.
Yeah, he kind of floats away and they both stab into him as he goes. But they're like on their knees and they're like, have at you anyway, kind of thing. But yeah, the audience kind of like, they're applauding at this. Like, this is interesting to them. And as they're applauding, this is where the stagey stuff comes in. Because the audience applauds for the enemy, you and all of your projections take 1d4 thunder damage, so you take 4 thunder damage each from the applause of the audience.
It is not letting me click on it, as because I'm in the
Because
wrong.
you're on the
thing.
arrow. The arrow's now trapped on me.
There we go. Did it work? Did it take off of confidence damage?
The only one it didn't subtract from I could see is, I got it. Talent and confidence both didn't get subtracted from for some reason. But I got it. So there's them. Did you get your own?
Oh, you did? Okay.
Alright. So yeah, the thunderous applause, it's not really that thunderous, but the applause of the audience, like, actually hurts your ears and everything to hear when it's not for you.
My turn then? Right.
Yes.
Alright, so Silva is going to tumble down over here and then cartwheel over to here before landing on one knee and casting Thunder Wave.
Oh.
Actually right here. I don't want to... Yeah.
So what do you have to say when you cast Thunderwave, or are you just doing it all silently?
Well, as she's tumbling towards him, she'll say to him telepathically, I can overcome you.
Alright. So as you do that, you go ahead and cast your spell. Let's see. I can't remember if it's Con or Dex. It's Con. Alright, so he passes the save, so he takes half damage. It isn't pushed. But as you do that, the thunder like echoes through the building, carrying your words of defiance with it. And the spotlight turns on you. And shines on the creature as well when it does so. The creature screams in agony as the light burns it, along with the thunder. And as the light burns it, it kind of starts to disintegrate at the edges and fray, and he's like, "You may have bested me this time, but I'll be back. You can never be rid of me." He fades into nothingness, followed very quickly by confidence training and talent.
Silva's going to do a one-handed handstand, then roll back onto their feet and bow. They'll probably end up back here then.
One sec. Both of the spotlights click on and focus on you. And the audience gets up and kind of there's applause. Like, it's not uproarious applause, but there's applause from everybody. Some people seem to have enjoyed it more than others. And you take a bow or two. And then everything goes quiet as the show is over and the curtains start to close behind you. Or, yeah, behind you, so you can slip into them.
I'll head back here to the door.
What's the saying? As you head to the left, what's the saying? Exit stage right.
Talent. Exit stage. Right, okay.
So you head back to the right, knowing exit stage right. And you find them waiting at the door for you, and they say, "Congratulations!" Still a bit rough around the edges, but you did well. You did not give in to fear.
I'll smile and shake their hand.
Now come. I am sure there are some
wait.
who would like to meet you for what you have done. Your performance was interesting. And he kind of leads you out to go meet with the adoring fans, as it were. Alright. Before we move on to the next map, I want to zoom out a bit here. Ow. Something was just biting me. That's always fun. But yeah, I'm turning off the dynamic light because I wanted to reference this because I loved making this map. Can you see the whole map now?
Oh, I cannot.
Huh. Let me just... There we go. Global illumination.
If I move the mouse, the map, no, there we go. That looks really nice.
I had a lot of fun making this map. There shouldn't be a gap there. That's weird. I didn't notice it in the dark. Oh, it's not even available. It's not visible on my map. That's really weird. If I click over to the map that's the version the stream sees, there's a gap, but it's not there on my own screen. Either way, yes, I had a lot of fun making this little, like, this theater map. So with that, we will now jump back where we were before with Sarah. Sarah, you still there?
Right after we stopped? Right after we stabbed and heard the crackling?
Yes, when you heard the cracking, that's where we're picking back up.
Okay.
So as you kind of stand there and stagger, like, you're not really, like, moving much, but you're kind of, like, trying to figure out where that's coming from. Small cracks and fissures start to, like, appear on the floor. Not directly underneath you or anything, but, like, around the room. But they don't seem to make sense. This is wood, and it sounds like glass shattering to pieces, like, slowly.
But I wasn't in the room when the mirror shattered, so I thought it would not. Confused is all I can feel right now.
Mm-hmm. And then, as that's all setting in, the world is cracking around you, and then the illumination changes. It's as if you're in complete darkness now, and the light no longer matters. You can see everything. As the world slowly cracks apart around you. And when I say that, like, you can see it on the map now. Yeah, it's not seeming to happen outside. It's just in this room. But there's a haziness to the areas outside the door. You can see them, but they don't seem to be there. They're, like, kind of distant and foggy.
I'm gonna check closer to the mirror.
The mirror is laying face, like, it should be face down on the ground, but I can't really do that with the token. But it's face down on the ground, shattered.
I'm gonna lift it up and see the case itself.
You lift up the mirror and look into it, and there's some fragments of it still left in the frame. But even the, like, actual frame has cracks forming on it, and the backing is cracked, and through it you can see the same, like, reflective material popping out from behind it, same as the ground around you is seeming to do. And this isn't just the ground, the walls, the ceiling, everything is cracking, and there's this, like, everything, wherever the cracks form, you can see whatever's on the other, like, reflected from whatever perspective. So whatever is behind all of these cracks is a mirror. And as soon as, like, this one crack right here gets big enough, a form just literally crawls up out of the crack. And they look exactly like the woman you just murdered. Except not wearing the same clothing. They're wearing a nicely tailored suit made with white, very white material. But their face is exactly like the woman's. But there's something very wrong about that face. It doesn't seem like it belongs to them, obviously. And the figure kind of, like, gets up out of the crack and stands up and kind of dusts off their pant legs. And looks to you and kind of, there you are.
Shows a sign of confusion. You
don't remember me? I'm hurt.
Whether they have knowledge.
Like, you look confused, and he immediately, you don't remember me? I'm hurt. We've met several times through the mirror. I've been helping you. I've been giving you gentle nudges in the right direction, let's say.
So, steps back, but is still concerned because she knew about the mirror, like, in terms of seeing something off, but she didn't think this was what would trigger it.
I'm sorry, is it the face? Is it the face? I took it from her, but I figured it would be easier with a recognizable face. Is that the problem? Would it be better if I use this one? He, like, really rips the face off, and now it's your face.
Slowly steps back. Where's Papa on this, by the way?
Frozen. On your shoulder.
Shit. Okay. Wait, from me talking to from me just being confused and stuff, how's he, like, is he reading my signs, or is he reading something else?
Exactly. You're not really sure. He just seems to understand you.
I continue
He, it,
signing.
they, your face.
Signing confusion of like, where are we?
He
We're
kind of
not
like
where
holds
we
out a hand
were.
and just does like a gesture of like, no, no, no. Don't worry, you can speak here. Just think.
So she starts thinking about where are we, because right now I went from one position of helping clear the way to now not so clear a way.
Oh, don't worry, darling. I decided to come popping in for a visit. The world doesn't really like it when I come through, so everything gets a little cracky. It's fine. It's just, it's complicated. Let's just say, I stole your face a while ago. I'm sure you've noticed.
Possibly a few responses we've tried to get before from people have been a bit difficult.
Oh, yes. That's
Since
because
such a
most
thing
people that do this
happened.
to are dead, usually, or they go insane and kill themselves. Like, it's not my fault, necessarily. It's just kind of the weak psyche of the human brain. Or whatever species. I'm not a speciesist or anything like that. Just the humanoid brain is fragile, let's say. Can't... I mean, I guess the way you could put it is sometimes they crack. He kind of chuckles. He's like...
So while he's saying this, I'm curious. Piercing vision doesn't see anything like different with the world, does it?
Oh, this world is something. Like, the world that you're standing in is the world. These cracks are very real.
They're very real. This is no such illusion.
It's as if the world itself is breaking apart at the hinges.
As long as I'm stepping around, not on the cracks, I'm stepping around the cracks.
Yeah, that's a good plan. But yeah, when you do the thinking thing, it's telepathy. So you can literally think and communicate what you think immediately. So you speak
at
as
that
if you were
point-
speaking.
Something's off, considering I'm still signing to him. But something's off because some of the nuances are getting missed. Or not getting missed, sorry. They're perfect. The nuances that I normally wouldn't expect somebody to get is perfect. That's unheard of. So I try something where I sign something different but say something else. So I sign something along the lines of, why are we here? Versus I say... Oh, let me check something.
You think something else instead of what you're saying.
Yeah. So I sign, why are we here? But then I say something along the lines of, sorry, when are we here? Kind of thing.
Well, when is more of a mortal construct, let's say. I don't really
And
deal
that's
with
the point at
when.
And that's the point at which she knows that something's completely off because that's not what she signed. But she thought that. So now things are a bit weird.
As for where are we, again, we're literally in the same spot. We haven't moved.
Okay.
Nobody else can move. I'm only letting you move right now. Because I wanted to have a conversation. You've done good work here. That woman, she was causing me all kinds of problems. You too, I'm sure. Like, I've been watching you for a while. I know your whole shtick, let's call it. Enjoy the new curse, by the way. You picked it up off of her. That'll be fun.
Curse?
When you kill a cursed person, what happens sometimes? You get the curse.
Right.
You know how it works with your kind. You guys pick those things up like, I don't know, some kind of metaphor that makes sense in the current time.
And this one I was assuming it would just burn off relatively soon.
Well, the one I put on you
that
won't
was
go
of a
anywhere
dying
for anytime
person.
soon, but it's not really... I mean, is it so bad? People don't recognize you. That seems really nice, doesn't it? For a person in your line of work. Anyways, he kind of stretches and, like, you see him kind of, like, hold out his hand, and you literally, like, when they do, there's no flesh. Their hand is literally mirrored surface, glassy surface in the shape of a hand, and they kind of, like, check their own reflection in their hand. What was I gonna say now? I forgot what I was gonna say. Did I really? I don't remember.
This leaves several. Are you going to be appearing from this point on for every single one that I clear?
Oh, darling. I'm in every mirror. They just don't know. Don't tell them. It's a secret.
Would it be preferential if I didn't accidentally replace each mirror?
I mean, they're the windows into
With
your
a
world.
broken
I'd
version of
prefer to
them?
be able to see out my window.
True.
Do you
I
like it
prefer
when
if
people
my
go around
world
bashing
wasn't
open or breaking all your windows? No.
I'd also prefer if you didn't go around breaking my world, but as you can see around
I mean,
us,
I can't
not
help
really
that exactly.
following
That's
that
just
either.
who I am. Or what I am,
Well,
I guess. It's a better way to put it.
Let us come to an agreement. I'll minimize the amount of times that I destroy your windows, and you minimize the amount of times that you destroy my floor.
Oh, don't worry. If I stay here too long, they'll get angry. So I can't. This has got to be a short trip.
Okay.
Yes, Varden. Break a mirror, it makes smaller mirrors. Mirror Man wins.
As with most of my interactions, though, there's information that comes from that. So I have to ask you this: what kind of information trade can we do for now or the future?
Oh, I'm not here to give you information per se, as power. You see...
Interesting. You're the first one to actually pass me something other than just words.
Oh, I mean, I like words, don't get me wrong. I like to talk as much as the next guy, as you can tell. Like, I don't get a chance to speak to most people very often. Most of them go crazy. I don't know why that is. I don't understand what's wrong with people. Just want to have a nice conversation, you know, torn out of shape. Anyways, what I was saying, like I said, I like what you're doing here. You're doing good work. You're cleaning up the world, as it were. This world is a pretty messy place. Especially since those Arcadians came to town, let me tell you.
The newest?
Oh no, they've been here for a lot longer than, like, any of you have lived. Don't get me wrong, but, like, what's time to me? Again, like I said, construct, not really my deal.
Considering time is an issue for me, sometimes I have to worry about it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, like, no, definitely you have to worry about time. But hey, everything's frozen right now. No time. You've got all the time in the world at this
Well,
exact moment.
And she looks down, looks at the cracks that are still spidering just slightly.
Oh yeah, they're slowly just getting worse.
Yeah, that time freezing thing doesn't really work on these, does it?
Oh no, I can't help that. That's just me, being me.
So, considering the tick-tock that goes on with the clock, I think it's best if we do wrap up and figure out what's going on for the
Oh,
next
of course, yes.
person. But you mentioned something about power.
Yes, power. Power is the most important thing in most worlds. Power.
But the question is that it's a trade. Something
Oh no,
that you
no,
need
no.
from
This
me.
isn't
No?
me. It's not so much a trade as a I want to see where this goes.
User disconnected from your channel.
Interesting.
You see,
Okay.
when you've been around for literally eternity, and you'll be around for literally eternity, you get kind of bored sometimes. And watching through these windows is about the only thing I have to do. So sometimes I like a better show. Because sometimes I gotta say, you guys are pretty fucking boring. So that's where this comes in. I come in sometimes, I you know, sprinkle a little fairy dust, quote unquote, here and there, and mix things up a little bit. And you guys are sticking it to the Arcadians as it is. I've got my own problems with those assholes. So I figured, why not help out?
I can see this as being something of a... For one of the first times in my life, you seem to be giving me something that isn't going to be a dead-end immediate, so... I think this is a good way. And she reaches out, hand first. Maybe a good start to a partnership of some sort.
I mean, there's other words we could use for that, but sure. And he like reaches his hand out too and grabs yours. And when he does, you feel like it's like you stuck your finger in a light socket. Not like as in you get electrocuted and you die, like in the way of just there's that jolt of like the power surging just in latently, and his body is overwhelming. This being is ancient and powerful and not omniscient, but might as well be to a degree. Like they can see everything and they're everywhere. And as he releases your hand, he's just kind of like, sorry about that, hard to hold back. You know how it is. Well, probably not actually, but that's beside the point. Anyways, have this, and he kind of like, out of nowhere on his hand, he just kind of holds out a necklace and flicks it at you.
Grabs it.
That will be useful to you, I'm sure. I've noticed you've had some trouble with connecting with your friends in the past. We can't have that. You need to be connected with your friends who hate the fairies as much as I do, so you and your friends can all go stab them to death for me. Because that's what I want to see, is more death. Not like in general, but like fairy death. More fairy death, let's put it that way. That'd be interesting. They're really hard to kill, it's annoying.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Did that pop up for you?
Yeah. So, oh, amulet, so it's the shape of that. Okay.
Yep. A necklace in the shape of a mirror. A hand mirror.
Out of character. Is there a... So when it says can telepathically communicate with up to 10 creatures who understand it, that you can see, does that mean that it's just the limitation of sight? There's no actual distance limitation as long as you can see them? Okay.
See, the only time you really can't telepathically communicate with someone is if you literally can't see them or if you're blinded for any reason.
Alright. She puts it on.
Now, as for the other part, you've already touched me, so the power's already been kind of transferred. That's just how it works. Your little birdie friend there, you can perform this ritual thingamajigger that you know how to do now. Just trust me, you do. And it'll summon something a little more you're not a bird into its brain to help out, and it'll be smarter than it was, and you can cast magic through it and stuff if you have magic. I don't think you do that, though, but either way... Hopefully on the whole summoning roulette you don't get an asshole. We'll see what happens. It's almost like a gotcha, but I'm sure you wouldn't know what that is. A little before your time. Or after your time, I should say. I don't remember. I get confused.
Cha what?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So, looks over at Pawpaw. Is Pawpaw still frozen? No change, nothing, right?
Pawpaw is still currently frozen because you'd have to actually do it before that would affect it. You now know the Find Familiar and all that from your subclass.
Right.
I think that's about everything we need to cover. But yeah, look, keep sticking it to the not man, the weird otherworld bad people. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The sticking part,
Fuck
as,
those
as
guys,
they say that,
right?
she pulls out her dagger and spins it around, or not spins it
Yeah,
around, but
you
looks
get
at
it.
it.
You get it.
Question glare kind of thing.
Yeah, that. You know what I'm talking about. Fuck those guys. But don't actually fuck them. That'd be weird. I mean, if you're into that, I guess you could fuck them before you kill them. Either way, kill them.
Slowly, kind of creeped out, stepping away a bit. Not many people would start talking about that kind of thing with their to-be victims, but okay.
Anyways, I think that's everything we needed to talk about, probably, maybe? Oh, you're probably going to want to kill her, too, before I, freeze stuff, because she's going to start screaming really loud if you don't. She's right over there.
Okay.
But,
Jumps the spots.
yeah, you start running it. And he's like, ta-ta! As he unfreezes time, and she's like, immediately
And
starts to scream.
Immediate response is behind the back.
Yep.
Immediately Cola Marsh to the right critical spot in the spine.
Yeah, you don't even have to roll because she's not moving until that moment, and all of a sudden, stab! So she starts to scream, and it's replaced by gurgling as blood fills her lungs.
Ooh.
And she's dead. Instantly.
Alright, clean off the blade in the clothing. And, yeah. Actually going to... The people that are sick are just... They don't hear anything.
They don't seem to have reacted to it now.
Okay. So, I'm actually going to take the body, drag this over to the water.
Also, one sec before I go any further. Now that you're back to the real world, darkness. Alright, so you're taking the girl's body. And dumping her in the drink. Okay. Now, do you want to search opponent before you drop her?
Oh, what's that?
Did you want to search the bodies?
Yeah, I'm gonna search her body. The other one was kind of pointless.
Alright. She's got 10 gold. Being a doctor pays well. She also has a full surgical kit.
Oh, sweet. I will take that.
With including 10 extra scalpels.
What's actually required for it? For a surgical kit?
It would just be medicine.
Medicine? Okay. Alright. After that, takes the mask and tosses or takes the mask and hat and then tosses them into the drink.
Alright. So you get the wide-brimmed hat and a plague doctor's mask. With, I will point out now, the plague doctor's mask has filtered lenses. They don't really help you see any better, but if you were to wear this, it would filter out harsh light.
Excellent. And with that, basically going to listen and check and see if, first off, wherever Papa is, they better be next to me.
Oh yeah, they're on you still, so they would have snapped back the minute you would have been very confused.
Yeah. So, I'm listening to hear if there's any footsteps or anything outside.
Don't seem to be. Only just the shallow breathing of these 3 sick people.
Oh. Somebody will check on them soon. Alright, so, yeah.
Alright, so you head out.
From here, check out.
Are you gonna creep away stealthily?
Yeah, stealthily.
Alright, so you make your way back to the slums without any issue. And back to your hideout. Alright, so I think we're at 8:45. I think this is where we'll wrap up for the night. You guys are done with your little side stuff? next week we'll pretty much just be doing Rose mainly. And then maybe we'll do some group stuff once that's done, since we'll have everybody here except for Anger. So, thoughts on today's session, folks? Is Max still here?
I'm sorry.
I know somebody disconnected a while ago. Oh, it must have been Luckily.
Starting. Yeah.
Hello.
Noticing allies in places I was not expecting.
So yes, how did you like meeting Dindrik for the first time? You literally met a local folktale.
It was good. It was one of my characters, right?
No, Dindrik was the man in the
No?
mirror.
Oh. Terrible at names.
It's
I'm
a
sorry.
folktale.
Dindrik is a local folktale of a mysterious being that appears in the reflections, steals your face, and drives you insane. There's a nursery rhyme about it. It's a Muganag. It's very much in the vein of like Ashes Ashes. It's a cautionary tale, kind of very like. If you listen to the actual lyrics, you're like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you'll also get your mask. I forgot about that, Mac. That's my bad. I will go enable that on your character.
So I get the fun of Stolen Face still being there, along with
A new curse.
being able to bitch to people who are currently within sight. I think we're gonna start worrying about why. Like, I think we're gonna start worrying now. Now that Pawpaw's not the intermediary, this might be a bit interesting.
There you go, Mac. I didn't make a card
This
for yours
Pawpaw was
yet, like the rest,
actually
but that's because I didn't have a
stable.
picture yet.
Okay.
But there's your map.
Thank you.
Verdon, they don't have to be alive. It's true, you could fuck the corpses. Dindrik's not gonna judge. He doesn't care.
You.
I mean, is that really any better than doing it and then immediately murdering them? Not really. Dindrik just wants a good show. Like, legitimately, when I was concepting this character, the best way to put it is that the mirrors are his television. He's like, oh, my favorite show is on! Yeah! Literally a cosmic being just bored out of his mind trying to watch through the mirrors and throughout the entire universe to find a good show. Peels off face. But yeah, other than that, we are wrapped up here. That was fun. I hope you guys had fun. I have been waiting to roleplay Dindrik for a while. It's not exactly how I expected to play him, but honestly, having him be kind of fourth wall breaky makes a lot of sense when I was like, it's called a gotcha or something like that. It was terrible, but funny. So, let's go ahead and start wrapping up, and next week, like I said, we'll do Rose side stuff, and then we'll try and do some group stuff if we have time left over. Which I'm sure we will, unless they take a while to do theirs. I forgot what I was going to say now, other than that. It's very warm. My brain hurts. And Yeah. So, yeah, let's do your guys' outros. So it's just the two of you. So we'll just go through you guys, Mac.
Hello, I am Mac and Sucks. I'm on Twitter at Mac and Sucks, and I do a lot of. I enjoy watching a lot of VR chat streams these days.
All right, and Sarah.
I'm Sarah Raven Victoria. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at twitch.tv/Sarah Raven Victoria and Twitter at Sarah R Victoria. And I usually end up doing random. I I stream. I'm a bit flustered right now just from things, so I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. And then there's me. I'm Axel. I DM here. I stream here sometimes on different days. Verdant streams tomorrow. Skaven Day. Come watch that. Yeah, every day but Tuesday and Thursday currently are stream days for us. Who knows if that could change in the future? We've got ideas. We've got ideas for a one-shot coming up. Verdant is planning. I'm planning on trying to get some more Ashwell going again in the future. Trying to get more people involved that haven't been in before. People who've been hanging around the channel, maybe. Or no, not Tuesday. Monday. I'm alive. Shh. Yeah, we don't stream Monday and Thursday. My bad. Other than that, we have our first emote approved finally, so that's there now. Little Torchy boy. Look at it, he's so cute.
It's adorable.
He's so happy to be on fire. And yeah, I hope you guys continue to tune in, watch us do dumb shit in D&D. We're kind of getting into the meat and bones of this game a little more. Once we get across the bridge and they get into the walled city, that's really where like things open up a bit more. Because they won't, well, they'll still be fugitives, but things are going to change a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been having fun with this campaign. Yeah, let's, I'm going to go see if I can find somebody to raid. And then if we go raid, everybody spam fire emotes of some kind, because that's what we do. Alright. I found somebody else playing D&D that we're going to go ahead and raid. This is the Greyhawk channel, they're called. It looks like they just went live, maybe like 2 minutes ago. So I think that's pretty good timing. At least I hope they're still live. Either way, thank you for everyone that came out. Thanks for lurking in chat. Thanks for being active in chat. Whatever. As long as you had fun, I don't care. The VOD will be going up in the next couple days of this stream. We'll see you again next week. Until next time, guys, keep your torches lit, delve deep, and keep rolling. Bye-bye.